Every year, thousands of people pack their bags, leave their old lives behind, and fly to Australia, searching for something different. A new beginning. A better rhythm of life. But for many, that dream quickly turns into one of the hardest decisions they'll have to make. Sydney or Melbourne? It sounds simple, but it's not. This rivalry runs deep. A cultural divide that has shaped Australia's identity for generations. Sydney, bold, sun-drenched, alive, where ambition meets the ocean. Melbourne, creative, thoughtful, unpredictable, where ideas, art, and coffee shape the streets. Each city tells a different story about what it means to live in Australia. But which one truly gives you the life you imagine when you picture yourself moving down under? In this video, we're breaking down the truth, the lifestyle, the cost, the culture, and everything that makes these two cities so different, yet so distinctly Australian. So before you book that flight or sign that lease, let's go beyond the surface and find out which city might actually fit the person you are. Let's start with the vibe, the invisible heartbeat of each city. Sydney is the kind of place that greets you with a skyline that feels cinematic. The Opera House rising from the harbor, the bridge glinting in the sun, and the sound of the waves hitting Bondi Beach. It's a city made for the outdoors, where people run at sunrise, surf before work, and unwind with barbecues overlooking the water. There's an electric rhythm to Sydney. The people move fast, the city hums with energy, and ambition feels contagious. Everyone's chasing something. A career, a lifestyle, a dream. But that same energy can feel overwhelming. The traffic, the prices, the endless rush. Sydney doesn't slow down for anyone. It's exciting, but it can also burn you out. Melbourne, though, is different. The first thing you notice isn't the skyline. It's the atmosphere. Narrow laneways filled with street art, the hum of jazz music drifting out of a hidden cafe, conversations that last hours over coffee. It's slower, softer, more human. It feels like a city made for people who think, create, and connect. Melbourne celebrates culture in the little things. Its bookstores, galleries, and late-night ramen spots tucked away in corners most tourists never find. It's a city built on community and creativity. Less about showing off and more about belonging. Of course, lifestyle means nothing if you can't afford to live it, and that's where the Sydney-Melbourne divide hits hardest. Sydney has beauty, but it comes at a price. Living here often means trading space for opportunity. Rent near the beach or in the inner suburbs can easily reach $700 to $800 a week. Buying a home? Expect a seven-figure price tag. Sydney's median house price now pushes past 1 million Australian dollars, making it one of the most expensive cities in the Southern Hemisphere. Food, fuel, transport, everything stacks up fast, and yet people stay. Why? Because Sydney rewards ambition. Salaries are higher, especially in tech, finance, and business sectors, and for many professionals, that trade-off feels worth it. Melbourne, meanwhile, offers something Sydney often can't: breathing room. The cost of living is lower across the board, from rent to groceries. A house in Melbourne averages around $900,000, and apartments hover near $600,000. It's still not cheap, but it feels possible. You can live comfortably, not constantly calculating every expense. But there's a flip side. Salaries here tend to be smaller, so what you save on rent, you might lose in pay. The question becomes simple but personal. Would you rather chase opportunity at a higher cost or comfort at a slower pace? In Australia, that choice often defines which city you'll call home. When you move to a new city, you start from scratch. Every piece of furniture, every object in your home becomes part of your new story. And in those first few weeks, one thing matters more than anything else: getting good sleep. That's why I always tell newcomers, if you invest in one thing first, make it your mattress. I've been using Origin for years, and their lumbar cloud model has honestly been a game changer. It's designed with back support in mind, using hybrid memory foam and pocket springs to hit that perfect balance. Not too soft, not too firm. It's cool to sleep on even during hot Australian summers, and if your partner moves around, you barely feel it. And if you're unsure, they give you a 120-day trial, plus free shipping and returns. For anyone just arriving in Sydney or Melbourne, this one simple choice can make your new space feel like home. Because the truth is, adjusting to Australia isn't just about exploring the beaches or the cafes. It's about creating comfort where everything else still feels new. And for me, that starts with the one place where every journey ends: your bed. Now let's talk about something every local has an opinion on: getting around. Sydney's public transport system looks great on paper. Trains, trams, buses, and ferries connect almost every corner of the city. You can tap your credit card, hop on, and go. But ask anyone who's lived here, and they'll tell you the truth. Sydney's transport works until it doesn't. Rush hour can turn a 20-minute commute into an hour and a half of frustration. The Harbour Bridge becomes a parking lot, and the inner-city roads feel like a maze of honking cars and brake lights. But there's also something special here, something few cities can offer. Imagine starting your morning gliding across the water on a ferry, the skyline shimmering in the distance, sunlight reflecting off the Opera House. For a moment, even the chaos feels worth it. Melbourne's system, on the other hand, has a different rhythm. Its trams are part of the city's soul, rumbling through the streets, connecting neighborhoods that feel like worlds of their own. They give Melbourne a nostalgic charm, like a city that remembers its past while moving into the future. The transport network is vast and generally more organized than Sydney's, and within the CBD, it's completely free. A small but brilliant touch that shows how Melbourne prioritizes accessibility. Still, venture out into the suburbs and you'll feel the cracks. If you live far from the inner city, you'll probably need a car. Both cities share the same story in the end. World-class infrastructure struggling to keep up with world-class growth. The difference is that Sydney feels fast and scenic but chaotic, while Melbourne feels calm and connected, until you step too far beyond its tram lines. Australia is one of the most desirable places in the world to live, but it's also one of the most competitive. In Sydney, that competition is on full display. This is the country's beating financial heart, home to major banks, global tech companies, and corporate headquarters. If you're ambitious, driven, and ready to climb fast, Sydney can make your career explode. But that opportunity comes at a price. Long hours, intense pressure, and a lifestyle that sometimes blurs the line between success and survival. The skyline isn't just beautiful, it's symbolic. Each high-rise represents someone's relentless pursuit of something bigger. Melbourne tells a different story. It's less about skyscrapers and more about culture, design, startups, education, and innovation. It's home to some of the best universities in the Southern Hemisphere and has become a hub for young entrepreneurs and creative professionals. Melbourne's economy is diverse, driven by health, science, education, and the arts, a combination that fuels not just jobs, but ideas. Here, work feels less transactional and more personal. People talk about balance, not burnout. And while salaries might be lower than Sydney's, the overall quality of life often feels higher. You can walk to work, grab coffee at your favorite laneway spot, and still make it home for dinner without feeling drained. Both cities are economic powerhouses. Sydney rewards your ambition, Melbourne rewards your alignment. The choice depends on what you value more, the climb or the calm. Now let's talk about the soul of each city. Its culture, its weather, and how it feels to live there day to day. Sydney's identity is built around movement and light. It's all about the harbour, the beaches, and that endless summer energy. You'll find surfers at dawn, beach picnics at sunset, and weekend markets overflowing with food and music. It's a city that makes you feel alive, but sometimes it feels more like a postcard than a home. Everything is glossy, picture-perfect, and often expensive. The nightlife is scattered, quieter than you'd expect, especially for a city this big. But there's still magic in those small moments. The fireworks over Darling Harbour, the golden glow over Manly, or watching the city skyline fade into dusk. Melbourne couldn't be more different. It's gritty, layered, and alive with personality. Here, art isn't confined to galleries. It spills onto walls, sidewalks, and cafe tables. The laneways pulse with live music, secret bars, and endless stories. The food scene is a melting pot of cultures, a reflection of the city's diversity and open-mindedness. Every week brings something new. A street festival, a film event, or a spontaneous art performance. But with all that vibrancy comes one notorious twist: the weather. Melbourne is famously unpredictable. Locals joke about 4 seasons in one day, and they're not exaggerating. You can wake up to sunshine, step outside into rain, and finish the day under snow-gray skies. Winters can feel long and gloomy, while Sydney enjoys a milder, beach-ready climate almost year-round. But for many Melburnians, that unpredictability is part of the city's charm. It keeps things interesting, a constant reminder that no 2 days are the same. So, Sydney or Melbourne, which is better? The truth is, there is no single answer. Sydney dazzles with its beauty and energy. It's where ambition thrives, where the ocean meets the skyline, and where every sunrise feels like a challenge to do more, be more, live more. But it's also fast, expensive and demanding, a city that rewards those who can keep up. Melbourne, meanwhile, invites you to slow down and look closer. It's not a city that tries to impress you, it grows on you. You find its magic in conversations, creativity, and community. It's the place where art lives, coffee is an experience, and culture breathes through every street corner. So maybe the real question isn't which city is better, it's which one fits who you are. Do you crave adrenaline or authenticity? Motion or meaning? Sydney will test you, but it'll also make you stronger. Melbourne will embrace you, but it'll also make you think. In the end, both cities represent the best of Australia. Two different versions of the same dream. The only way to know for sure which one's for you is to live it. Because sometimes the right city doesn't just change your address, it changes who you become.